It's very sad, but then a lot of us have set up ourselves for distraction, and let's talk about that today. I have observed, from my own life and then from the lives of people, and then from some things that people say, that a lot of us have just set up ourselves for distraction. Like, we just can't focus on one thing for a long time. We have very short attention spans. Right now, the reason why there's an influx of short form content and short form content is doing so well, and platforms like Instagram, TikTok, and even YouTube that used to focus a lot more on long form content is now going so hard on short form content, because right now the sad state of human beings is that we don't have a lot of people who have long attention spans. And I see that also with my podcast, because when I was doing my stepping content where I was doing like the videos and all those things, people were saying that, why are your videos so long? Now I feel like that's a genuine concern, and I'm not going to discredit that. But then I thought about it, and then I'm like, wait, why are they not thinking about the value? Why are they not thinking about what I'm saying? Because I believe that if someone is saying something and it is that sensible to you, you don't care about the length. For example, I saw a video that the person was talking about what he would do if he was starting YouTube in 2024, and the video was 30 minutes long. Those videos are mostly like 12 minutes maximum, 6 minutes, 9 minutes, 8 minutes. And then what they were doing was that they were actually, aside showing what they would do, because the person's a filmmaker, right? So he was showing like how he does, or how he shot the whole video. Do you understand? And that was value enough for me that I didn't care about the length. Do you get? But then let's today look at the actual problem. Now, before I continue, I'm sorry I didn't mention my name. My name is Caleb Akotobanfo. If you are meeting me for the first time, welcome to the Creativation Podcast. This podcast is a video and audio podcast platform that is designed to inspire and motivate creatives in Ghana, Africa, and all around the world. If this is something that's of interest to you, I'll be super glad for you to subscribe to the podcast if you are listening or you are watching on YouTube, and then follow the shows if you are listening on Spotify or Apple Podcast, right? So then let's look at and focus on today's topic. Looking at myself, for example, right, I observed that a lot of the times when I wake up, the very first thing I'm picking up my phone, and this is not alien to people, this is like the normal thing. I feel like you're actually very special if you wake up and the first thing you are picking up is not your phone. If you're a young person especially, because even old people suffer with this. If, let's say, at that point in time you don't have anything pressing doing, you realize that for the first close to an hour, for some people, you are just distracted. And now I feel like that is like the root cause of us being distracted. So a lot of us have very short attention spans, because while you are on your phone, picking up the phone as the very first point, mostly the very first thing, you are replying messages, or you are scrolling on social media trying to find what's like exciting. Some people who are very active on Snapchat are going to see the streaks from the day before that they missed, all of those things. And so and you realize that in the space of 1 hour or 30 minutes, you have moved from Instagram to Telegram to YouTube to Instagram to TikTok, back to Snapchat, then to WhatsApp, then to Telegram. So you are just moving up and down, and you are just like, you've not been able to stay on one activity for a long time. Now this is actually training your brain to respond to things in particular. So now you find that after some time your brain can't stay on one thing, because your natural disposition or your default setting is to be distracted. So we are actually setting ourselves up for distraction. And so I woke up one day and then decided to do something quite different. I decided, okay, I'm not going to take my phone first. I actually did take my phone. So I picked up my phone, I woke up, and then I put it back down. And I'm like, no, I'm not going to be on my phone today. I want to do something different. I don't want to also deceive myself that I'm going to be in my room and I'm not pick up my phone. So the first thing I did, I went out for a walk. And while I was walking, I was listening to my podcast, right? Yeah, I do that a lot of times. After listening to the podcast, I was praying while walking, right? And I came back. Now the day was very different, even though that particular day I had planned so many things to do that I couldn't do, because when I came back I was very tired and I slept. But then the day was very different for me, because I was so happy that I was able to start the day off with productivity, and I didn't just stay on moving from here to here. Do you understand? Now the question now is that, of course, we know the problem. What I'm saying is not something that is new, so I don't have to even talk so much about it. So then now the question is that, what can we do to solve this problem, because it's a very big problem. And I feel like it's something that's going to actually be of big detriment to a creative, right? If you're a creative and then you find yourself in this loop of activity, like you're actually somebody set up by default for distraction, and you're just allowing your dopamine to just mess with you, it's going to be a very big problem, because I have seen a very big difference in my output as a creative in general when I started approaching this thing differently as compared to the time that I was in the problem like I just described. You understand? Like those times where I just wake up, first thing I'm on the phone, then maybe I have to rush and then go to class or rush and go to work when I was doing my internship, all those things. The day just becomes very messy and then you end up piling up tasks. But then when I started doing things pretty differently right now, I've seen a very big difference. Right now, I've seen that I've been able to work out the things that I needed to work out, regards like my creativity. So I've been able to edit the videos I had to edit, design the flyers I had to design, record the episodes I had to record. I've been able to do so many other things, and I just see like a very big difference. Do you understand? Because this is the 3rd episode I'm already filming in April, and I'm very glad about it, because like there's been that consistency. So what should we do? What can we do about it? Because like I said, it's a very big problem for a creative. Leave that thing for the rest of the people, like the people who don't have anything to lose. But then you have a lot to lose, because you work with your mind. Your focus and your ability to be able to stay on one thing is actually very necessary, especially if your creativity is not sourced from school, in the sense that maybe you are in a media school, or you're in some sort of film school or art school where you are always learning these things. But then if you're like me, where you have to like learn from YouTube, and then the advancement or your development as a creative is actually dependent on how much of focus you can have at a particular time to be able to do the things that you actually need to do. Then if you have a problem with attention, then there's a problem, because you can't take courses, you cannot watch YouTube videos, you cannot pay attention to things and be on one thing for a long time and then actually focus and then get what you have to get and then do. That's a very big problem that we shouldn't, meddle in at all. So then let's see how we can solve this thing. Now, number one solution that I feel like, because I feel like amongst all our distractions, the major of them is our phone. Now, there are internal distractions and then there are external distractions. And even among the external distractions, which are things that are outside, because internal distractions are like maybe distractions in your mind, all those things. Now, people believe in meditation to be something that will help you solve your internal distractions. Now, I solve my internal distractions more with speaking in tongues, because I'm a Christian, and I find that when I'm speaking in tongues, I'm able to like gather all myself to be aligned. So it's like how the person's meditating and getting it. So I'm actually doing two things at the same time, building my spirituality and then also being able to align everything. Like it's like all the thoughts that are running around at that point in time, through tongue speaking and through prayer, I'm able to bring everything to be in one direction. Then we are moving in one direction. That's one way to deal with your internal distractions. But then now talking about the external distractions, one of the things that I feel like is the most distracting for us is our phones. So then we have to learn how to deal with our phones, because most of us start our days with our phones, which is not the best. Even if you do productive things, right, I feel like it is still not the best, because your phone gets notifications. There are things that just pop up without your control. Do you understand? And sometimes some of these things are able to capture your attention such that you move to these things, So then it's not safe to start off with a phone. Now, I group these things into dealing with these distractions into two: the drastic solutions and then the calmer solutions. But then there are still solutions, you understand? And I am using the calmer solutions because I feel like when I use the drastic solutions, a lot of the time it doesn't take much time, then I just get back to the problem. So I choose to use the calmer one so that I understand that I'm doing this thing, but then I'm not also putting so much pressure on myself that now I feel overwhelmed and then I'm just like, what, just call it, let's just call it off, let's just get back to the thing, So one major thing that I am doing right now is that I put my data off a lot of the times. I mostly didn't believe in putting off your data, because if your phone is to get missing right now, your location is we are not able to access your location because of your data and all those things, But then sometimes I put it off because I want to focus. I feel like another way to do this thing is to put your phone on do not disturb. Now, the reason why I don't like to put my phone on do not disturb is because do not disturb cuts out everything. Sometimes you might not even get calls, and you'll have to now tweak things. I feel like it's more difficult as compared to putting off your data, because putting off your data deals with social media, and then the most distracting thing on our phones is just social media. So then if I'm able to cut out that's fine. So then you can choose either to put your phone on do not disturb or to just put your data off. Then another thing is that a lot of us go and sleep charging our phones, right? Like either we sleep off while the phone is charging, or we actually intentionally put it on charge and then go and sleep. And that is also not a healthy practice. So what you could also do is that if you have a bigger room, if you have a bigger house or something, it's advised that you don't charge the phone by your bed. So at least you don't even wake up with the phone by you, because a lot of us are able to hop on our phones the very first thing in the morning because our phones are by our beds. Just to ensure that you don't do that, just charge the phone in another room or charge it far from your bed, you understand, so that you don't have to reach for it the very first thing you wake up. And then another thing too is controlling yourself. Now this is pretty hard to do, but then it happens when you understand what you are about. I feel like I should have even said this one before, the controlling yourself. Understand, like, you see, one thing that I feel like has helped me be able to do the things I need to do and cut out distractions and all those things is because I have defined my goals, I have defined my purpose, and I know what I want, I know where I'm going to. I said in some episodes back that if you are going somewhere, it determines how you go. So then when you understand that, oh, this is where I'm going to, this is what I want to become in life, this is where I need to get to, and these are the things that will help me get there, these are the things that will also stop me from getting there, it now conditions you to act differently. For the past few weeks, what has helped me to be able to do the things that I need to do and has kept me from not doing the things that I don't have to do is because I have set on my mind, set before me where I'm going to and where I want to get to, and I've understood the build to get there. The build to get there is the kind of things I need to do. So then it has helped me now do some things and not do some things. So now when I'm responding this message faster, it's because I have understood that right now I need to be a better creative to my clients. So then when you're able to define purpose, it's easier to now do things differently. You now like approach things pretty differently. Now another thing too is that you should not let guilt be your motivator. Your motivator should be where you are going to. Now the kind of training you give yourself determines what kind of output you get, because like imagine you train yourself to be distracted. Now you are wondering why you can't stay on one thing for a long time. You are wondering why you can't stay on one project and work on it and finish it. You are wondering why even things are supposed to help you, things that you are supposed to watch and learn and let them help you, you watch like close to halfway and you are just thinking about your mind is just roaming everywhere, because you have conditioned yourself for distraction. So then the best thing to do right now is to recondition yourself, not for distraction but then for focus. So right now do things that are more when you wake up, do more focused things, because see, the thing is simple. This is distraction, this is what you want to do, this is you can either turn here or turn here, but then as long as this is here, it will keep getting your attention, because your attention is like the one that is stronger will be the one to pull it. It's like a magnet. So then if you are able to remove this one, then now this is the only one trying to pull your attention. That's why I said all the things I said, that take your phone somewhere, do this, do that. Now delete apps. Some of us need to delete apps. I still have a time limit on my TikTok, and I consciously spend lesser time on Snap, because we as creatives, we develop by learning. The more you learn, the more you develop. So if you are not learning, you cannot develop, you understand? So then rather than just stay in one place and then be very distracted and all those things, why not put away the distractions and then just set yourself up for focus? That's right now you're going to do the things. One other thing that I've realized that will help you, because it has really helped me, is inventory and planning. When I was trying to untie myself from this whole distraction thing, right, one thing that I did was I sat down and then I wrote down everything I needed to do, and I realized that so much work had piled up on me. Work from like last 2 months had piled up on me. So whoever had ever contacted me for work, even if I decided to do it for free, I wrote down all of those things, all of those tasks. Then now I wrote down my personal tasks, right? Then now I began to set timelines for it. I've realized that I was able to like focus and then do the things better. The second thing was now planning where what will fall, because if you don't have a plan, you are failing. You plan to fail when you fail to plan, you understand? And right now, in the space of a week, I've been able to clear so many things that had been on me for like months. And right now, I'm still making progress. So yes, one very important thing that will help you is to plan and then to take inventory. And then one other thing that I would also add is that don't multitask for now. Now, if you have planned, if you have taken inventory and you have planned, there will be no need to multitask, because you have distributed every task to a time. If you do that thing, you don't have to multitask. Unless, of course, the last point that I'll give, which is that life happens. There are times where life happens and then you don't have any control over the things that you have to do. Maybe you have planned to do something, but then all of a sudden something happens. Don't be too hard on yourself, because there are times where, people listen to productivity gurus and then they end up being too hard on themselves. Like, I need to do this, and if I don't do this, that is it. No. Life happens. You understand? There's also a point of doing things regardless. So yeah, you do things regardless. Life has happened, so you do it regardless. You are still on the focus. You understand? So just fix it somewhere. Like how I fixed the editing or the designing when I was listening to the podcast. So yeah, I feel like I've said a whole lot. Thank you so much for listening to today's podcast. If you listen on Spotify and Apple Podcasts, and thank you so much for watching. If you watched on YouTube, I'm so sorry if you get to hear the little noises around. I'm in a house, so definitely that's what's going to happen. But I believe that these things are going to help us to be able to remove distractions, to be able to shift from the culture of being naturally distracted people to being people who are very focused and who are high aimers and high achievers, who are very focused and trying to do what you need to do. My name remains Caleb Akoto-Banfo, and this remains the Creativation Podcast. If you like what you heard, kindly drop a thumbs up to prove that you liked it. If you like, you share. If you like, you comment. If you like, you subscribe. Thank you so much, and I'll see you in the next episodes. Bye.